They're not just rolling back climate action. They're trying to erase the very idea that climate change exists. And here's the gut punch. They're doing it with such surgical precision that even the most battle-hardened scientists are staring at their screens in stunned silence. Ready for the twist that will make your blood boil? They're targeting every single layer of the climate fight. Root causes, data, public information, international cooperation, adaptation plans, leaving nothing but scorched earth. But here's where it gets controversial. Some insiders argue this isn't mere negligence. It's a deliberate ideological purge designed to make the next generation doubt whether the crisis was ever real. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that every thermometer on Earth had been smashed, so no one could measure a fever. That's essentially what's happening to our planet's vital signs. Earlier this week, leaked memos revealed the administration intends to yank the plug on a flagship NASA satellite, one of our best eyes in the sky for tracking carbon dioxide. The spacecraft is healthy, fully fueled, and expected to run until 2040. Yet officials would rather let it tumble into the ocean than keep listening to what it has to say. If that sounds like book burning with a rocket booster, you're not far off. And this is the part most people miss. Killing the messenger is only half the story. While silencing satellites, they're also gutting the agencies that translate raw data into life-saving forecasts. NOAA's budget is being zeroed out. NASA's Earth Science Division is on the chopping block, and entire libraries of climate reports are vanishing from .gov websites overnight. Picture Wikipedia on the day someone deletes every entry about medicine. Except the stakes here are the air we breathe and the coastlines we call home. Then comes the rewriting of history, Soviet style. When asked why cornerstone national climate assessments disappeared, Energy Secretary Chris Wright shrugged and said they merely plan to update the science. Translation: they're convening a hand-picked panel of long-discredited deniers to draft a replacement document that will likely claim more CO2 is actually good for us. Actual climate scientists have labeled the stunt a farce and compared it to Stalin airbrushing enemies out of photographs, except this time the disappearing victims are peer-reviewed facts. But wait, it gets darker. The Environmental Protection Agency, yes, the very agency tasked with protecting our environment, has proposed undoing its own 2009 endangerment finding, the legal backbone that lets the U.S. regulate greenhouse gases. Undoing it would be like the Surgeon General revoking the 1964 warning that cigarettes cause cancer, then handing out free Marlboros on the White House lawn. Internationally, the administration is strong-arming allies into silence. Beyond yanking the U.S. out of the Paris Agreement, Trump loyalists are reportedly pressuring the International Energy Agency, headquartered in France, mind you, to fire its top officials and stop forecasting a peak in oil demand. Imagine France trying to fire the head of the U.S. Federal Reserve, and you'll grasp how brazen this is. Meanwhile, under the banner of a fictitious energy emergency, federal agencies are racing to bulldoze every safeguard that slows new oil rigs, gas pipelines, and even coal plants. One hand slashes environmental reviews, the other swings an axe at wind farm tax credits. The recently passed Big Dumb Bill, yes, that's what policy wonks are calling it, is projected to boost U.S. emissions by 190 million metric tons in 2030, equal to adding roughly 50 new coal plants, and nearly 500 million tons by 2035. From a climate perspective, it's not policy. It's a death cult with a congressional majority. Make the problem worse, blind ourselves to the damage, gag the scientists, and then kneecap any effort to adapt. Entire chapters on sea level rise, drought resilience, and extreme heat planning have been scrubbed from federal websites. The next national climate assessment canceled mid-production. Who needs a roadmap for a journey they insist we're not taking? Now the cynical retort, well, what did you expect? Misses the point entirely. Expecting a punch doesn't soften the blow when it lands. Project 2025 spelled all this out months ago, yet watching the blueprint become brick-and-mortar reality still feels like a slap. Climate change is the defining test of our species, one that will redraw coastlines, rewrite economies, and reorder geopolitics. And right now, the people least equipped to face that test, billionaires insulated by private bunkers and political donations, are standing on the shoreline, cheering the tide to come in faster. So, dear reader, where do you stand? Is this a legitimate rebalancing of priorities, or the most reckless act of vandalism in modern history? Drop your take below: agreement, outrage, or a counter-argument we haven't heard yet. The comment section is yours. Let's see if we can keep the conversation and the planet alive.